Valentine's Day special bonus, because y'all know my tight ass don't be doing this stuff like every other week. I will if you ask me to, though. If you ask me to. But until then.
Money.
Okay.
Money.
Yes, speak that into existence.
Exactly.
But until this, our bonus edition. I'm super excited. As you know, I have the most ultimate friend in the whole wide world. I have the lovely, and if you guys don't know her, remember, he was the gay man who got to the pussy at 41. Not my pussy, somebody else's pussy. Go back to the episode.
Good, though, actually.
Yes! Introducing Christopher.
Government name. Hello, I'm here, y'all.
Yes!
It's okay.
Well,
I don't care.
We can figure this shit out.
I don't care.
Or government names. I mean, it's going to be a famous name regardless.
Very true.
Yes,
very true. I don't care.
So, with this episode, I must give you a warning. This episode is about love. This is going to be about unconditional love, honest love, honesty, but I'm not going to lie, y'all. We getting X. Yes, this podcast is called Get Into the Pussy. And as you know, when we say get into the pussy, it's get into your power, get into your pussy. It could be get into the pussy too, right? But yeah, so this episode, we're going to flip the fucking roof.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I'm keeping it serious. So I'm going to do a countdown because what's happened is, for those, and I'm so excited because there are 5,000 listeners who rock with me. Thank you, by the way.
That is great.
Connecting us, right? Hell yeah. So, and I know I get a little bit jaded, y'all, because I live in New York City.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I live in New York City, and we live in New York City. We live in a bubble, right? And we're like open, we're liberal, like we say fuck on the street. You can say like la la la, but we know damn well if we took our asses to Florida, we ain't cursing.
No.
And I always have to remind my friends, it's like, guys, we live in a bubble, but if you go outside of New York City, like.
There's a different mentality down there.
Yeah.
You definitely, it's evolving. As it should have been a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I likened it to when I first moved to New York. I was saying yes, ma'am, no, sir to everybody.
Get in.
I thought that was how you talk to people.
No, and God forbid if I said the word fuck.
Oh no, those are things you don't really do.
I know.
You do it behind closed doors, but you pray after.
Yes, you repent. Remember them days? Oh, bitch, delivered. All right.
Done with that shit.
But with thinking of that, I did not want to. I felt weird. I didn't want to ostracize. I love you. If you're in Oklahoma, listen to me. Yes, baby. Wherever you are. But I want to give you a disclaimer right now. I'm going to give you a countdown, folks. I'm dead serious because I'm going to go there. And I swear to you, if you go after this countdown, if you stay with us, you are, what did I say, complicit? You are.
That's right. You're complicit.
You're complicit.
You're
right?
complicit. You're definitely you voluntarily stayed.
You voluntarily stayed. Mm-hmm. So whatever happens in this conversation, it is what it is.
Options are provided.
Yes. But understand, I give you an option. So we're gonna count down to 4. Because can you help me count down to 4?
Yeah, okay.
4. Okay. You ready? Okay. So we have 4,
3, 2, 1.
You still there? Let's get it. All right, bitch. So the snowstorm was happening last week, and I found myself, of course, days later, alone. Oh shit! No, shut up. No. Okay. So this is real. Okay, so this is also real shit. Okay. So I found myself alone with a calf injury. So mind you, if I cannot, right? So I'm alone. I got no dick. I can't run. So I can't work off the sexual energy.
Yes.
So my ass is home. And of course, I'm not going to overeat because I don't do things like that no more.
Good.
So I watched some porn. But when I mean by porn, because the feminist in me, I am very specific with the porn I watch. For example, right? I don't watch, I would say porn that's like Hollywood made. I'm into more amateur porn, couple porn. Like I'm into those 56-year-olds who get it in a fucking Motel 6 and they just want to film. I like it. I like all of it.
Listen, you go ahead. That's you, girl.
No, freaks do something to me. No,
listen, I'm a freak too, but I okay.
I don't know.
Another adventure. I go in my backyard.
We'll talk about that too. No, so and also I do feel like when I'm watching more exhibitionist porn, couple porn, I feel like there is no one being trafficked. There isn't. And so I feel okay by me looking at it.
No, I saw something the other day that reminded me of what you were saying, and I said to myself, Charlie would like this, and it literally was these two older people. They were together for a very long time. You can tell.
Yes.
They were doing a TikTok on meme where they're just like being in different sexual positions, just out of nowhere. Not really performing, like with the giving the act of, and they're just smiling. And then I think the caption was, "If I don't want this, if this is not real marriage." Like that. It's beautiful.
Hell yeah. So speaking of that, when I was on white porn, no, if I don't, and this is, oh my gosh, why is it? Because you put, if I don't want this in marriage, and now I'm like, okay, so I discovered a term. Okay, I got this seriously. I discovered a term. So I needed something to watch porn. I put amateur, whatever, and then I came across the search of the name cuckold. And for those who do not know what a cuckold is, I'm going to read the definition, but the cuckold is CUCK.old. Cuckold. Okay, OLD. So a cuckold can be a man whose wife is sexually unfaithful, often regarded as an object of derision. Or it can be a man where the man is the cuckold, right, of the relationship with the wife. So she's probably more of the dominant. He's more of the servant. I was watching cuckold porn. It's so weird. Cuckold. All right, I was watching cuckold porn, and I came across a scene. And you know what? I'm going to try to give it the best way I can give it to you. So it was a threesome. It looked like a couple. They were maybe in their 40s or 50s. Two guys and a woman. So the woman was like laying over in the bed, like she was doggy style, right? Mm-hmm. And what happened was that the guy was inside her, of course, while the husband, I assume, was also from the back eating her out, like he was laid out on the bottom, whatever. Okay. So the guy pulls his thing out, his penis out of her vagina, and then the husband now is like licking her vagina, eating her out. The guy is getting ready to now put his penis back in her vagina. And the husband's like, no, wait, I have to get it ready. I'm thinking the husband is still working on the wife.
But you know, honey,
Child,
I already know what's going to happen.
Child, the guy puts the other guy's penis in his mouth. Of course. Gives him fellatio and puts it back in his wife.
It ain't nothing.
No, get it. So I'm looking at this, and this is where I know. Maybe I'm involved. Maybe I live in New York City too long.
We've been. I think I know exactly what you're getting at, because I discovered something recently, but I want to go. I want to stay on this. So we definitely have, to your point, we definitely have not been exposed to a lot of this stuff. And you're getting it now. Yeah. And this is like blowing your mind.
It's blowing my mind. And what's crazy is I didn't have a bias with it. I know, you're accepting. Yeah, I didn't have a bias. I did not think, that's, like, I didn't even want to say gay. Like, I didn't think it was, I was like, if anything, that shit turned me on. And I was like, good husband, yeah, get it ready. That's how you do it for your wife. Yes! And I was kind of celebrating the whole, thing of it. So I got a little bit confused in my feelings, because I did come. And I honestly felt like it was like the scene from the Crying Game when I'm done and I took a shower. I was like, what the?
Well, because I bet it felt like your first time having a sexual act, because it was new.
It was different, bitch. It was different. So of course, confused in my feelings. I have a lovely friend. I love you for this. I'm gonna shout you out when I shout out this title. So my friend who I met years ago, he's a massage therapist. I met on Craigslist. Bitch, remember when Craigslist was popping? Remember when Craigslist?
Yes.
You could get a free buy and also a hookup in the same day if you wanted one.
A relationship of multiple years came from Craigslist.
Yes, do you guys remember Craigslist? Do y'all remember it? Now I want to know who was mad when they took it off. The personals. So he was someone who I've known for maybe 15, 16 years in New York. We've never had sex, no sexual relationship, nothing like that. It's just he's a pleasure person. He loves pleasure, princesses. And there was a certain time in my life, well, I still am, where, I put in work too. But I like to be pampered and like treasured and shit. And he has a girlfriend, super cool. Well, like I said, we're non-sexual, whatever. But I'm like, hey, can you come massage me, please? My back hurts, my leg all fucked up, I can't go anywhere, and I'm single. Like, I need human touch. So he was like, I got you, girl. So he comes over, and mind you, he identifies, I'm just saying this, he identifies as straight, okay? So And I'm like, okay, cool. And so he comes over to my house, gives me a massage, whatever. And then I just tell him the story. And I'm like, oh yeah, the guy's stuck his thing in his mouth. And I didn't have a reaction. And my friend was like, oh yeah, that's called heteroflexibility. Yeah. I said, what? He says, oh, that's heteroflexibility. Yeah, that happens to me sometimes where someone's sucking my dick or I'm with my girl, like shit happens. Heteroflexibility. My mind was blown.
It's interesting because as you're saying this to me, I'm thinking about what I would have termed it as, bi-curious, or you're saying to yourself, okay, well, the lights are off. Yeah. I'm in this place by myself. Yeah. I'm having this one time. No one's really going to be upset with this moment because we're all touching each other. It's one of those things where you're communicating through your body and you're communicating with the energy that's coming about. Sex is a beautiful thing. Yeah.
But the whole thing about curious, it's a cop-out, because curious is, I'm curious about it, but if you constantly been doing it, you ain't curious no more, aren't you?
No, because
can't you jump in and out?
Well, the flexibility part, the term just came about. Okay.
I know, but I'm into it. Okay. I think it's going to be a lovely cop-out for a lot of people.
It's definitely going to be a cop-out. It's going to be, but I also have a problem with the person that definitely will be, I'm so this, so that, categories and labels. But then you get whatever under the influence that they're under, then all of a sudden that is forgotten about. Then you can be whoever you want to be. But then once that's done, whatever. And then under the influences, that have to be always chemicals.
So let me ask you a question. Because, and this is why I was so curious about you. Because, okay, so if I identify, right, if I'm identifying as straight, whatever, that could be like, oh, I'm heteroflexible. Then I think about you, right? And at this time, you're in your inclusion thing. And at that time, you identified yourself as a gay man. I don't know what you identify as now, but we never asked that. How cool is it?
No,
it makes me think. Okay. For you, heteroflexibility. And then I was like, oh my gosh, are you in your homoflexibility? Because... Right? I don't know. So it just makes me think about. Go ahead.
No, I don't think I'm heteroflexible. I know
I'm like homoflexible.
Get that old child. Okay.
It exists, guys. I did not make up the word. If you look it up, homoflexibility is like there now. Heteroflexibility is there. I'm just.
No. Here's the thing. Listen, that there are a lot of gay men that still have sex with women who are self-identified as women, women who are going through an affirmation change. Yes. I think at the end of the day, for me, talking about me personally, I am a gay black male. If there are moments that are coming to me where I'm seeing, FTM, female to male, or a trans man, who, at the end of the day, our sexual anatomies are going to be there to please each other. And with whatever we see outside of that, the mind or other whatever conditions that you're surrounding yourself with is putting you in a place where that is creating a bias, is creating a stigma. At the same time, you feel good. You watch these three people they were enjoying each other, and I guarantee you there wasn't even a hinge of like, ooh, I am being disgusted. Ooh, someone is talking about me. There was no. As we talk about this sometimes,
there was no shame in this.
No shame, but there was no barriers to inclusion.
Ooh, yeah. So there's no barriers to inclusion.
Everyone was included in this moment.
Process. So, and it makes me think, of course, when I was younger and doing my own trauma. We're both from the church. Yes. We're both from hardcore, right? I come from a hardcore Christian Protestant. Like I said, we did not own TVs. We had long hair, long dresses. Even gospel music was secular. Crazy. So growing up, but what's insane was, even as a kid, and I used to get my ass beat all the time over this, I knew everybody who was having affairs in the church, people who was freaking, even my own father. Like when a new woman came up, I was like, oh, that interaction was differently. And I remember as a kid, I grew up and I was like, I am going to be an adult who tells the truth. I don't want any secrets, because everyone is claiming that they're this and they're that and they're perfect, and they are tearing each other apart. Exactly. And then when you think of all of these weird things, like for example, the Hillsong pastor, right? And the thing is, now he's losing his whole congregation. He has his fling, and you see all of these things, and it makes me think, what if we were just honest? What if we were open? What if we had communication? There's a woman right now who hates me close to my building because she thinks I'm sleeping with her husband. And I want to tell her, boo, I am not sleeping with your husband, but I know who is. And it's not a woman, it's a male. And it's not a big thing, right? Because he's unfaithful. But you're looking at the wrong woman. So it makes me think have your heart.
She knows. And what she's doing, she's channeling it in a different way. Because listen, you know when your significant other or someone that you're with has a little bit of a cleanse to something else. You can see something because even in sex, you do it the same way all the time, it gets boring. Yeah. You have to figure out how you keep the spice going up. If that dick gets harder for another thing that you didn't do.
Come on.
If that pussy gets wet for something else that you come on. This is basic human condition.
Come on.
You have to adapt yourself to see what's going on. And it is a nice conversation because you have to be willing to say, okay, I am not doing what I need to do to get to that point. What am I doing wrong? And if I'm asking that person about that and they don't want to tell me about it, I have to communicate in a different way. And that's the body, the mind, the look, the little. You have to. That's why you have the courting was a big thing back in the day because you stayed with that person.
Yeah.
You stayed with it. You understood what you needed to do. Because I'm telling you, the best thing anybody can do is they can be inside of you for less than 15 seconds. You're already coming. That is beautiful.
Amen, honey. Woo, 2 minutes. Just take 3 fingers. Yes!
Episode.
That's honey. I just caught it. It's like I learned a lesson recently. You know what?
Come back to reality now.
I was like, Charlie, bring it back.
You were thinking about something else, Lord.
This sucks edition. It's fun. But no, it makes me think about the honesty, and also it's just being in New York City, and I think that. And I felt like I was in a very special place. I have had the privilege of being with about 6 or 7 men, hanging around with all men, So I was privy to go to, do you remember Secrets? I love Secrets and Chi-Chi's. And so I was privy honey. So I was privy to be, so I was privy to be like in this community and full of black men. But the hardest thing was to be in this community and the next day, everyone's so different. Or everyone's in this relationship. Everyone is, not everybody, but it's so, and you see a group of men so happy that night, and even women, happy. They're in their reflection. They're doing their thing. The next day, they're somewhere else, be it work, be it somewhere else, and they're miserable, or be it with their husbands or their spouses. And it's just like, are we hurting ourselves more by not being honest? Like, because, for example, that couple, I'm sure people will call them dirty, nasty, all of this stuff. But is that couple probably the most safest couple we have in America?
Yep. And they're probably the most loved, and they're most adventurous, and they will, as my go to think about my first relationship, this was like the term spark. That spark is more than a spark. It's something that's lightning right now. Yeah. And it's because that is something that they do all the time. There's no judgments. Yeah. There's no questions. And hopefully whoever they got to be in tune with them. We were talking about intonation last night. You have to know what the intonation frequency is. It has to be accurate. If you want to be a little bit sharp, you can't be sharp. They all have to go in some way that makes it sound beautiful.
Are y'all with that frequency, honey? We talk about that all the time. You got to get frequency for your life, frequency for your love, frequency. I love that. They have to be in frequency with what they're doing. Yeah. Because
listen, the thing is, we know when something is not cool, and if you're forcing it, it's not going to work. And I think we've gotten at an age where we can listen. This is not good. We can still figure this out, but this is not working for me.
Oh, honey, I'm to the point I don't even want to figure it out. I'm like, I'm too busy. I have no time. I'd rather figure out my money, but I'm not trying to figure out my
something. And that's if you give them to let them try to run after you if you want to. If you want to play the game.
That's so cute. That's kind of fun. As long as they come with gifts. My love language are gifts and services for people who still get it wrong. Sorry.
I gotta do that just one of these days.
You don't know what your love language is? I know what your love language is. Because like
very kind
been friends for years. Yes, no, you're a huge gift giver. But I know what you are. I don't even want to tell you.
Oh, okay. I think I am.
You are, honey. Because the thing is, you're a huge gift giver, but you don't really care about getting the gifts.
No,
it's not a big thing. So your love language is definitely not.
It's different when if you definitely get satisfaction and you beg giving. I say to myself, I live a Saint Francis of Assisi life. You can look that up on your own. But it's very good because there's reward in giving, and as you're giving to others, you are receiving, and that is something a foundation which we are upbringing because we did hear this in church. Yes. But at the same time, I have better church at this age that I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this in another episode, the church, this is something they did preach about, the church is in you. The church is in you.
The church is in you. Yeah.
Church, I have been delivered. I've shot up, and the next day I've had a beautiful day because I know exactly what it needs to do. And I think sometimes we were brought up in a way that it has to be this traditional way, but then some of them didn't go to a way that's the way of the people. And the people evolve.
Yeah. My grand aunt, she actually asked me in Florida, she was like, when the whole pandemic was happening, people were running back home. And I said, I am home. And then she was like, why don't you just come home to Florida? And I was very honest. And I said, it's beautiful to live a life where people are nice to you on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. They're not judgmental. I hear nothing but sweet things and sweet praises every day. Why would I come back to a place where I was born and I never received that? And I, mind you, church, hardcore, pastor, look me up. All of you guys will be freaked out. Yeah. And it's just like, no, I do understand both conscious streams. I'm good. I'm good.
But in my new work, and I've shared this with you before, is that I've tried to understand because they're a different generation than us.
And I'm still in respect of that.
Yes, so I'm cautious. We have to be, yes. So we definitely, because we live in our generation. Yeah. And they've had their chance to live theirs. Mm-hmm. And I think at our time in our lives, we're going to continue to be great at what we do. Not have to worry about so much stuff. Go back. Hey, done with your cold situation.
No, I'm not. No, I'm a little bit really obsessed. Oh my gosh, men, don't be afraid of me unless you're into it. But no, I don't. No, I don't know. I just.
Why don't you get a servant?
Oh.
They're fun.
You know what? You are my friend.
Because there's something about that. I had to appreciation for this as I get older. There's things that's gonna please you, and having a servant. I had somebody that literally just wants to just rub my feet. That's all this person wants to do.
Somebody rub my feet. That's beautiful.
And literally just it was turning me on to see him get so excited, and his dick was getting hard. See, I'll tell you what makes that dick go hard. What makes the blood flow?
Just by rubbing feet. I love that.
Well, but it happens. But that's the attraction. Now, if he wanted to share, which I didn't pry. Mm-hmm. If I asked the question, there's something that's so beautiful about that. If you were to explain that, and that's if you really want to take it to the next level to understand. But if you don't, that's up to you.
Well, let me ask you guys, what's your kink? Do you even know what the hell turns you on? Mm-hmm. Honestly, do you, if I was to ask any, you know what? Let's all take 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. What turns you on? What gives you butterflies?
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. You ready? Let's think about it. All right, if you do not have a smile on your face or something, you maybe need to think a little bit deeper. Right?
They're going to do it as soon as we get off this. They're done.
What turns you? And I think it's a good question, especially for women. My heart always beats for women because I always think, you know what? And also, fuck that, men as well. Mm-hmm. I think we're all a little bit blocked and fucked up. Yeah. Where we can't, if we were to really dig in and figure out what turns us on and act on that and speak on our partners and find out there's a freedom in that. But could be afraid you may lose your partner. You could be.
Well, that's why I'm really
lose your partner or your happiness.
I am impressed with the younger generation, the Gen Zs of the world. They are. I mean, as the studies have shown, this is the most educated, blended, inclusive generation that we have seen, and they love everybody.
I have a Gen Z friend, and he's very fun. He's my 3-minute, but we'll talk about that later.
Exactly.
Ciao. Hey, boo. Sorry, go ahead.
I bet that penis never goes down.
Never! I'm like, dude, the fuck is that? Yes! Oh, No. I'm sorry. I mean, there is something. I want everybody to be great lovers, but there is nothing like someone who just loves you. They just into it, and they packing, and they're a nice person, and they're smart, and they're making over $200,000. It's so thank you, Jesus. Oh God, you're so good.
What I said to you, hold true to what is deserving of you.
Oh, please say that again for our viewers, please.
Hold true to what is deserving of you. And what that means,
and that is from Chris.
That's right. It's me. What that means, you align what your purpose intent is. You have a purpose in whatever you're doing. Yeah. You are going to manifest what you have put into it. So whatever your purpose is and what the manifest of that, the results of that, you put in the effort. That's what you're going to hold true to what is deserving of you. We're not deserving of many things, but what you put into it is what you are deserving of.
I love that. And baby, I'm putting in much.
You're deserving of it.
Yes, amen. I hear you. Guys, whew, this is a good topic. How are y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good? Honey, I hope there are couples listening. I hope there are single people listening. I hope this is a true conversation.
It'll come to it. I think because if heteroflexibility
it's an interesting word.
is a thing, and if homoflexibility, and this goes back to what we talked about previous episodes a long time ago. I think the categorizations put us in trouble. We label things, put us in trouble. And I said sometimes we just have to feel more and think less. And when you're in that moment, when those three people are there, ask yourself. Ask these people who's listening to us. When you see straight porn and you see that guy watching porn, what are they always watching? Are they always watching the girl? Are they always watching the girl?
The crying game.
No, you gotta be careful.
You know what? Are you comfortable asking your partner that?
Oh,
you know what? I dare you. Ask your partner. Happy Valentine's Day. Oh no, for all my relationships. I'm single, so yes, I'm starting shit. So if you're in a relationship, trifling as hell. Yes, go back. You know what? God is still working on me. I still got ego. So
that's okay. But you know what?
Go back to your relationship. Ask your partner. Yeah, ask your partner. When you watch porn, who do you look at? What did you always? And see the reaction, see the thing, whatever. And IGB. Getting to the GETTING, number 2 THE. Or are you even comfortable asking that? Then ask yourself why.
Well, then ask themselves, what do they watch when they watch porn by themselves? Oh, it's true. It works both ways.
I want to know
too. It works because whatever you are, because again, porn is also education. You learn how to please yourself and how to please others based on what you're seeing.
You're right.
It makes you feel good and you having your different sunshines, whatever. Listen, I think sometimes the best time to really, really know how to get a good orgasm, if you don't have that person with you, find whatever instrument that you need.
But not Gorilla Glue. Don't go your pussy. Everybody's talking about Gorilla Glue.
That was I saw that.
Don't get Gorilla Glue. So get every instrument but Gorilla Glue and a knife. Don't do that. Okay, go ahead. Shit, you never know. I want nobody suing me.
That's very true. That's very true.
Charlie, you say
I think the one to figure it out, what you want to do, you can get a little small egg, you get a little white, whatever you want to get. There's things you can do to please you because only you know what makes you feel good.
Oh, baby, only you know. You know, and your partner shouldn't tell you. Yes, your partner should understand, but you should be the person to articulate that.
This is not the best comparison, but it's really going to be able to really bring it home. You know when you are dealing with something like you have like a pimple, okay? And you want to pop that pimple. If somebody else pops that pimple for you, you're going to feel pain instantly because they don't know where to touch on your body. When you see that pimple, you know where to caress it, you know what to do, and it's not going to be as much painful. That's with everything in life. You know how you want it to feel. And that person you're rhythming with, that vibe, they're going to be in that same frequency place with you. That is what we want to ultimately achieve. And if we don't get that, we'll find a way to, because you got to please yourself. You'll get there eventually.
Yes! And that's how you get to your pussy. I love you, Chris. Thank you so much for being here.
I will be here.
Okay, can we have you again? We got to think of something so much fun. And if you listen to the end of this, remember you are complicit with